Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. So, this video is going to be about the Proving Grounds Grandmaster Nightfall. I'm going to try to give the short and skinny of easy ways to beat this so you can guild your Conqueror title or farm this out for whatever weapon is dropping, which happens to be the Adept Silicon Aroma Sniper Rifle, which comes with some pretty gnarly rolls, most notably Snapshot Sight and Opening Shot for PvP, and then Triple Tap Firing Line for PvE, a whole bunch of other stuff or whatever fits your fancy. So if you're trying to farm this out for whatever the reason is, this should be a helpful video for you, especially if you have not beaten this before. So let's get on into this. Alright, this Grandmaster is pretty straightforward, not a whole lot to it. The opening part, you can just go ahead and skip it, just hop on your sparrows, go right up there on the left side, and go ahead and get to the main meat and potatoes of this opening area part. Kill the champions, because you get platinum by killing all champions, then you get more chance of more rewards, so you want to kill all those, and then eventually you'll have some stuff spawning in. Now I would suggest staying on the left side of this whole area for pretty much the entirety of this fight. Eventually the first mini boss is going to come out and you get him down to half health, and then the immune shield pops up and you gotta kill that little generator thing. This is probably the first maybe kind of sort of tricky part. All you gotta do is take advantage of one of three kind of little cheese ways of doing this that are pretty easy. One is someone could be running Skyburner's Oath and you can shoot through the shield with Skyburners and you don't have to do anything else. Since scout rifles are unstoppable and there are unstoppable champions in this might be a good way for you and your team to go. But if you don't want to use an exotic slot for a scout rifle, which I don't blame you, then you have two other options. One is you can have someone run around the little boss dude, just kind of every now and then punch him and just kind of running around at his feet. For some reason, that works to distract the boss, and someone else can shoot the little generator. Since this boss dude does not have a stop mechanic, it will just kind of stare at the dude, spin around in circles, and do absolutely nothing. So that works out pretty well. Another one is you can try to line up with the boss dude, so that way his gun is shooting at the generator while you're on the other side shooting it, because he won't be able to shoot you if his gun and bullets are hitting the generator, and then blow it up and then get out of there. Or you can just have people distracting him, popping in and out, shooting the thing and blow it up. Whatever works for you, that works for you. Just be warned, this is a solar burn Nightfall. The weapon of the main first boss dude is solar, so it'll kill you pretty quick, and since you got limited revives available, I just want to be a little bit careful to not waste too many on this boss guy. So that is the first part. That's not too bad. Then you get to the big tank room, which is what we're going to talk about now. In this tank room is not that horrible either, especially if you've got people using some defensive supers like Well and Banner Shield Titans with Furiosas. That's going to really help, because there's going to be all these ads and stuff. Tanks will be shooting at you at one point, so you got to be able to defend yourself from a lot of damage. Some people like being on a little bridge thing in the middle of the whole room. That works really well, but that hinges on people being able to coordinate and shoot down ads together and relatively quickly. You don't want to be having one of those anti-barrier champs putting up a shield a whole bunch of times because you guys are not shooting at the same one. That will really hurt your odds in making that strategy work. The other way is you can just kind of jump down, and there's going to be either a big shield on the left or on the right, and you just pick which one to go to. They're both going to be there. You just got to decide, hey, we're going to go left or we're going to go right. You kind of use that shield to deflect lots of damage, and of course still use those defensive supers. Just know if you're going to be on those little shield things on the left or the right, don't be right next to it. There's a gap in the floor. You will blow up from splash damage. You got to stay off that wall just a little bit and you'll be fine. Then the other main thing is, no matter what strategy you use for like where you're going to be at, whether it's the middle bridge thing or on the sides, is you want to get rid of those snipers on the left and the right little balcony things as quick as possible. If you don't, you might get wrecked even inside of a well. So just kill those things out and then just be smart. You don't have to rush stuff out. No one's got to be a champion. Be warned, those interceptors are pretty much snipers. They're deadly. They will one-shot you. So you want to make sure you take those out as soon as you can, assuming you're not going to put yourself in harm's way of getting killed, because then your team loses some firepower as well as a revive. Then when you do kill all the ads, you'll eventually see towards the end, there's going to be a couple of diamonds on the ones that are left, like on your screen in the HUD thing. When you kill the last of those little marked enemies, that's when the tanks will spawn in. So you'll really help yourself out if you kill all the champions and don't start the next part with champions up, because then more champions come in and it's just a lot. When you do start the next part, again, snipers really quickly, and then you destroy the tanks as fast as possible, or the other way around. Destroy one of the tanks as fast as you can, then deal with the snipers, and then deal with the other tank. The point is you want to get the snipers and the tanks down as quick as possible. The tanks do some massive damage. Even supers like Furiosas will lose a lot of their energy from one hit, so they won't last as long as they're used to. And if you use solar heavy weapons like Gallahorn or the linear fusion rifles, specifically Cataclysmic, it will be pretty easy to take those out without too much effort, and then it's just the regular ads, kill the champions, and move on. This is probably the hardest room of the whole fight, which is why I talked about it the longest. The rest of it's pretty straightforward and simple. So let's talk about the main next part of this Grandmaster. Alright, the next main part is going to be where you gotta do those core things. Nothing a whole lot to it, just be careful. There's some champions. Just go on in there and just be kind of smart. Now, something worth noting is when you're in the wheel well parts of these different rooms, you know, when you first get to the kind of area, you got the part where the rocks are flying around before you get to the actual center where the first core can be deposited. When you open up that door by picking up a core, a bunch of melee wielding gladiator dudes with giant knives the size of a planet come running at you. And so if you just pick up the core and drop it and you don't rush on that balcony thing, you will help yourselves out a lot to just get some kills. Because you could do stuff like put down some Wither Horde or just use your scout rifles or whatever at range and just take them out. But it's worth noting they don't really stay in that area if all of you are on the opposite side of that door. So if you run at the door and you have something like a banner shield up, then you can drop Wither Hordes and do quite a bit of damage. Bubble will work pretty well and as well. So just want to kill what you can and watch out for the two scorpion turret things that are on the inside there, and then just kill everything, go back, get the core, and put it in. Don't worry about picking up the core and it disappearing because you're hanging on to it. Just drop it. If it vanishes, it vanishes. It doesn't do anything if it vanishes. Just kill all the stuff and then just go back and get it. It's a little annoying, but you know, whatever. You want to beat the thing, right? Which is why you're watching this. So that's the easiest way to do it. And it's the same thing for the other side, because you got to do the core thing twice, and it's the exact same deal. So the system goes in is after you've done the tank room and you had like the little hallway with some minor ads, you drop on down, then you got the unstoppable and like the mini boss guy. You kill all that stuff, right? All right, so on the other side you got that main door that if you go at will open up into the area where you deposit the cores. Once that door opens up, a bunch of melee dudes will rush at you, and they can be very devastating because they will melee through a banner shield. So if you're right behind the banner shield titan, you might get axed. So you want to just open that up, just be careful of those ads, and just use things like Wither Horde or whatever just to take them out. I suggest you hang on to your heavy because you're probably going to want that for the main final boss, but just use what you can to stay alive and to get rid of those ads. Once all those are gone, on the inside there's a couple of scorpion champion turrets. You kill those, they're on the left side, and on the right side there's an anti-barrier champion. Kill that, go back, get the core, and deposit it, and then you just do the same thing on the opposite side of the core room. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Then you have all those dogs and stuff rush at you from the elevator room once both cores are deposited. It's not too bad. Just throw on some Wither Horde's shields. There are going to be an unstoppable champ and an anti-barrier. Personally, I usually go for the unstoppable first because it will rush you. The anti-barrier will more or less sit there, so it's not like an immediate threat, whereas the unstoppable will decide to say, screw it, I'm going to come at you until you're all dead, so you might as well kill that thing as quick as you can. Alright, and so that's pretty much the fight up to the boss fight. That's been the last thing. And that one's not too super hard either. Just kind of want to know some tips and tricks of places to be and what to do. For the boss fight, just worth knowing, when you start the boss fight, you will get full super energy and all your abilities back when you interact to start the ritual. So if you're running stuff like Bubble or Well, you might, or maybe even Tether, you might as well use those supers before starting the ritual, because then you buy yourself a little bit extra damage or places to hide or whatever you want to think of it as, because you'll just get all that energy right back. So the way you're going to start this room from is under the oven, or the tunnel underneath the main platform, which the boss kind of spawns in on. Why? Because you can can use that to move around, hide from ads, avoid volleys of fireballs, and it just works out really well. So you go over by there, someone starts the ritual, and pretty much immediately some fireballs are going to come flying at you. And you got a couple of options. You can shoot them down, you can hide inside of a super and hope that the super withstands all those fireballs, or just kind of move from one side of the tunnel to the other, because it will probably track into the outer edge of the oven or the main platform thing and blow up, and you don't have to worry about it. Any of those are fine, just blow them up. And then you want to stay pretty much in that area for the majority of the fight. Just be aware there's going to be some ads at the start. You kill some ads. When you get his first third of health done, then there's going to be two unstoppables that spawn, one on the left, one on the right. That's a great point in time to use a banner shield, because there's still going to be volleys coming at you. And then once those unstoppables are done, you're going to have to break down the shield thing. Now, the easiest way to break down the shield thing is going to be the same as the very beginning of this Grandmaster, but you want to wait for the volleys of fireballs to end. They're not unlimited, they don't go on forever. There's like 19 of them. Just wait a while, just shoot the volleys, run away from them, whatever it is, and eventually you'll notice they're not spawning in. Like, the volleys just aren't happening for a little while. So just making like, all right, cool, the volleys are done, just go deal with the generator thing so the immune shield comes down. Then you run back to the oven area and just do the same thing over again. Once the boss has been wounded enough to its last third of health, it will jump on top of that oven area with the platform, and that is the point you want to book it to the other side of the room where you first walked in at. Why? Because the volleys, for some reason, have a range limit. They won't track you at the very front of the room, and there's going to be more champions. So it's a lot easier to deal with the champions and stuff if you're not having to worry about these fireballs that will instantly destroy you and your whole fire team from the other side of heaven's glory if you're not able to get shot by those things. So you go to the other side and deal with all that stuff. Hopefully the gameplay footage here that I put in helps to make it a little bit easier to see and visualize, but I hope that that's how you do this fight. Odds are pretty high. Whoever you're running with, probably at least one of you knows exactly what to do, and that should help fill in anything that I'm not quite covering adequately or using words well enough to describe for you with the gameplay here. So hopefully this helps you guys all out to get some easy claps. Just know with this final boss dude, you can just use kinetic ammo, Wither Horde, to kill it. It is way more important to get those unstoppables down quick. So I tended to use my linear fusion rifle on the unstoppables probably more than on the actual boss. Some of that depends on your team's coordination, because if you guys are all really quick at destroying them without using heavy, well then save the heavy for the boss. But if you need to get things done kind of quick, well then by all means use your heavy on those unstoppables, so that way you can go through. Because worst case scenario, you just take 20 minutes using your little dinky rinky dink scout rifle to shoot the dude down, because it just runs. Once you get to 45 minutes, you cannot revive anyone anymore. But by that point, hopefully all the ads are gone. It's just the boss left. And if for some reason you're still going, it's 45 minutes, well then you just take your sweet time and don't die, because once you do, you can't get revived. And it would suck to leave one poor bastard up by himself for a while trying to do all the damage, which has happened to me before, and it is stressful. So hopefully you guys are able to do this with relative ease. Good luck in your Conqueror title, or Gilded, or farming your weapons, whatever it is you're doing this for. Have a great week, and subscribe to my channel, you dirty bastards. Happy grinding, y'all.